Here we are with your down dog tutorial. Down dog is an extension posture. It is meant to get the curves of the spine straightened to a certain degree, but that doesn't mean just try to bend them in the other direction that they naturally would go. It means create space between them, and then through that space between them, that line of the spine can become a bit straighter. So if you're familiar with the natural curves of the spine, the low back is in a back bend. The upper back, naturally, the thoracic, has this forward curve to it, and then the neck itself goes to the back bend again. So these are the natural curves of the spine. When we're working with an extension posture, we're trying to create space between all of these vertebrae so that we can get more extension and length. All right? So here's how we do that in down dog. Let's start by setting the foundation of your pose. So that means where your hands and feet are on the floor. Come into a child's pose. Your knees will be about hip width apart. Let your hips settle way back. And if you have knee issues that don't allow full flexion, then what you're going to end up with is a little bit too long in your down dog stance. So in that case, just be aware of that, and you'll want to shorten it up a little bit from what I tell you here in this tutorial. So hips all the way back, requiring the full flexion of the knees. Arms extended forward with the elbows straight, okay? And from here, you have just created the length of stance that is appropriate for most people for down dog, okay? So we come forward, and as you notice, my hips are now a little bit ahead of my knees, so it's not a stacked foundation at all. We're gonna curl the toes under. Drop your chest down the arm bones, okay? Pull your navel back towards your spine, and then lift the knees up, come back into your first attempt at down dog. All right, so what we're trying to create now is a line between wrists and hips that is as straight as we can get it. Now there are many places where points along this line could be out of the axial extension line. So it could be my shoulders, they could be like this, coming out of the line between wrists and hips. Or even if I get my shoulders in the line, I could be having some of the vertebra. There are many points in the back that could be rounding and causing that part of the back to come out of the line, okay? So I'll give you some remedies for that. These are the things that you will apply to your down dog, no matter where you have the points coming out of alignment of that axial line. So make sure that you have your foundation. We hinge forward. Chest is low here. That's going to help with that extension through the shoulder joint, getting it into the line between wrists and hips. Curl the toes under. Draw your navel back towards your spine. Lift the hips up. As you hinge back, push into the front of your hands, so the fingers and the bases of the fingers at the palms, you're pushing downward and forward through those. So if you do that, what you're going to do is help get the extension in the shoulder joint. And technically, anatomically, it's considered flexion in the shoulder joint, but don't worry about it. It's axial extension, trying to get in that straight line. Okay. So now, sometimes we might get good extension across the shoulder joint, but still have problems with the back rounding, okay? And in that case, you're just gonna have to bend your knees a little bit more. You bend your knees and you take the hamstring pull out of the equation. So if you're up here and your back is rounding because the hamstrings are pulling on it, simply bend the knees, continue the action of the upper body, fronts of the hands pushing downward and forward, and let that translate into hips up and back. Your knees can stay generously bent. Make sure though that you're allowing your heels to drop. You're not trying to hold them up. Even as you are translating that energy of fronts of hands pressing downward forward, all the way up the spine to hips up and back, you still can let the heels drop. All right? That's your down dog tutorial. Namaste.